just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
One texter suggests we use, given its irrelevance these days, the former Twins the K gong.
Oh yeah,
used to be the dong gong, then it became the K gong. Remember, Twins are irrelevant, so I can't find it. I don't even think it's in their system anymore.
No, we had to get a new gong a little while ago.
Did we?
Yeah.
We lost the old one?
Yes, I don't know where that one went, and then we had to get a new one. It wasn't quite the same. It was a little tinnier.
We
didn't love it as much, so I think we just pitched it.
Yeah. Or it could just be the old, just find one of the long goals that don't go on for 20 seconds obnoxiously, just go on for like 4 seconds.
We'll get her going. We'll find something.
That'd be another possibility. Or we could use this.
Hit the beach.
We could use... When you think World Cup soccer, you think brew, don't you? Isn't that the trigger?
Oh, I bet his chili's hot. I bet his chili's hot for America.
That's probably...
He's got the 4th of July coming up. Is he still out? I don't think he's doing anything, Brewster. We haven't checked in on him.
That's hard for me to believe, but I'll take your word for it.
I think it was last year he was the interim coach at Charlotte.
Yeah, he was, yeah. But I don't think they kept him.
No.
I'm surprised he hasn't landed soon.
They went in another direction. I think he did land. We'll find him. People always give us the update, too, on where he is.
All right, where would you like to start?
I'd like to start in Arlington, Texas, where I'm guessing it wasn't a sold-out crowd, according to Christine Brennan. The Minnesota Lynx beat the Dallas Wings 85-77. Olivia Miles, the spectacle. Do you like the spectacle or Magic Miles or Miles Magic?
I Can See for Miles because I like the old song by The Who, but it's a little bit dated.
That's good. That's fine.
I Can See for Miles and Miles and Miles.
Yeah.
I think they should at least play that song when she's on a roll at Target Center.
DJ Mad Mardigan.
Song,
get it going.
Isn't it?
DJ Mad Mardigan. She had 21 points, 8 assists. Natasha Howard continues to turn back the clock.
Who we probably haven't talked about enough.
Yeah, she's been good.
She's been good for them. She really has. And part of it is, again, here's the beauty of a great point guard. If you're another player, you learn that whatever the play call is, if you move, there's a good chance the ball's going to find you because Miles is going to find you, right? Because that's what great point guards do.
They elevate 21 and 14 for Howard. Kayla McBride made 4 3-pointers. And the Lynx got the victory. Cheryl Reeve, who spent much
by the way, let's stop for a minute.
Yep.
I didn't watch enough of that game to know, because I thought one of the sub-headlines or sidebar headlines was that she, for a significant stretch, guarded AZ Fudd and shut her down. Is that true? Did you watch enough of the game to know?
No, but Fudd had a a good game.
Oh, she did have a good game.
Yeah, she made...
Maybe it was a late stretch they're talking about.
That's possible, because she had 21 points.
Oh, that's much better than the last time we played them.
Becker's had 25.
Was the Lynx site Twitter handle, would it have been okay to put both numbers side by side, given this time Fudd's numbers were at least representative?
I think it probably would have been better.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of numbers, Cheryl Reeve, who on Saturday night was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Excellent intro speech by our gal Lindsay Whalen.
Oh, is that right?
I watched most of it. It was great. I thought she did a really good job inducting her coach into the Hall of Fame.
Where is the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame or Women's Sports Hall of Fame?
Women's Basketball Hall of Fame.
Where is that? Do we know?
Knoxville,
Tennessee. Okay.
Knoxville, Tennessee. That's where the ceremony was, so I assume that's where it is.
All right.
But Reeve already had the WNBA record for playoff victories. Makes sense. They've been to a million finals. She tied Mike Thibault for most regular season victories in WNBA history with 379. So
she'll get next victory. She'll get that.
Yes, if she gets one more victory in her career, she will be the all-time leader. It could come as early as Friday night against the New York Liberty as the Lynx continue their outstanding season. What I need more details on is Beckers and Miles got into it a little bit.
Oh, is that right?
Beckers was checking out, and the two of them were kind of...
Oh, I love that.
Yipping at each other, yeah.
Well, the quote I saw after the game, I meant to send it to you, and it's Miles. I don't know if that's what she's asked about or other trash talking. And the Miles contention is, I don't start stuff. But if you if I start hearing it, and then I admit, she said, I kind of get caught up in it, and then I will kind of fire back at you.
I love that.
Which I think is if it's true, that's a pretty good approach.
Oh, I love that. Let's give you the breaking NBA news where Ja Morant, that saga is over. He is on his way to Portland with our guy Micah Nori, Jeremy Grant, and Chris Murray, the Blazers that are going back to Memphis. But the two-time NBA All-Star, Ja Morant, the very available Ja Morant, is heading out to the Pacific Northwest.
And it's a name that obviously people were talking about here before the LaMelo move, was the idea of, okay, you're going to basically get him for free or close to it. Do you want to run that risk? I think the underrated danger on Morant, frankly, is his game hasn't improved. Leaving aside he hasn't played many games. He's not a great shooter. Again, he's explosive going to the basket, and he's fearless, which is a nice feature. But as much as people want to make it about, well, then there's the off-the-court issues, and that's a piece of this, I think the basketball side might have had as much to do with why it was so difficult for Memphis to find a home, that whatever he came in like a skyrocket, remember?
Of course.
People were basically saying, this guy's going to be the most interesting player in the league for the next 10 years.
That Memphis team that the Wolves played when they were the 2 seed,
right?
That was a fun,
it really was.
fun team.
True.
And they had the city behind him. It was a great story.
You know, the cliche about, okay, let's add something to your game each year, it doesn't look like he's added much, and he can't shoot.
And he can't stay healthy. So that combination, you knew somebody would take a flyer. Although somebody had tweeted something out saying that now the new starting backcourt will be Morant. Yeah.
And
Lillard.
Yep. I think it was Justin Termey said,
Yep.
In other words, the best guard on the team, Drew Holiday, isn't going to start for you anymore?
I saw that as well.
Because that was another name brought up here. Drew Holiday would have been a nice addition, and obviously not as explosive at this point, but a very solid pro.
He's a pro.
Still. There's no question about that. Remind me after the, even maybe before we talked to Johnny, about the latest analytics controversy involving, who's the Celtics?
Jaylen Brown,
which is you can't quite make up.
Yeah, he's firing back.
He's getting in it completely. It's way messy. Too much.
By the way, just some NBA news and notes here. Former Timberwolves Andrew Wiggins intends to sign a 3-year, $64 million contract to stay with the Miami Heat. And then I wanted to bring up before I talk about LeBron. Yeah, this is it. Zach LaVine. Do you know who Zach LaVine plays for right now?
You know, that's an embarrassing and good question.
No, I'm going to
say
it's not embarrassing.
Sacramento, no?
You got it.
Yeah.
The Sacramento Kings. He will be there next year as well because he has opted into his player option. Care to guess what his player option number was?
$71 million.
May as well be $49 million.
Yeah, he had
$49 million for Zach LaVine. So that's why you get all these contracts.
Yeah.
And even some people I heard over the weekend, like, man, 22 a lot for Io. It's like, well, yeah, and why are teams in such disarray right now? Because all these guys that got the max and the All NBA Supermaxes, like, there's a lot of really bad contracts. Not bad players, not helpful players, but in this second apron world, there are some devastating contracts.
There's no question.
And I have to imagine Zach LaVine's is one of them, which is why he's opting into it, because he's not getting 49 on the open market.
That's correct. Not at this point.
Even for a year. Lastly, Draymond Green is declining his $27.7 million option to become a free agent. As Shams tweets out, this move gives the Warriors flexibility to pursue LeBron James in free agency and Anthony Davis
can't make it up
via trade. So,
well, presumably the plan is Draymond is going to stay.
Yes,
but he's giving them
time and money,
and they're going to take care of him one way or the other. Here's what I would say: street clothes is dangerous, no question. LeBron is where he is at this point. But if you're the Golden State, to me, Golden State might be the one team where you say, play it out, do it. Because Steph Curry has got limited time now, and if you're wrong, nobody's going to notice, right? Because I assume, isn't Jimmy Butler coming back too?
Well, he would probably be a part of the Anthony Davis trade.
Oh, he would. He'd be out, going out. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Butler, by the way, watching World Cup soccer.
I saw that earlier today. Yeah,
he would be the piece moving out.
I would never, if it was my team, I would never want to take a gamble on Davis. I just wouldn't, on the basis of his injury issues. But if you're Golden State, you go, we have decided we're keeping Steph, or Steph wants to stay. So in that mode, you get as outlandish as possible if those are your only options, and you say let's just.
I love this idea.
Well, it's a fascinating lineup.
Yeah, it'd be
no question.
It'd be just a fun team to have in the NBA, because they'd still have nights that are that are vintage.
Correct.
Like even the Olympics a couple of years ago when it was LeBron, Durant, and Steph. Obviously, Durant's not a part of this, but man, it'd be cool. The Fan, by the way, has your chance to win $2,500. Enter the keyword America. That's fitting. America at KFAN.com. As we quickly approach our 250th anniversary. Go to KFAN.com to win $2,500. Enter the keyword America.
In about 15 minutes or so, we'll get the very latest steam from Jonny Athletic on where a coveted center named Larkin might end up if he ever gets traded in the National Hockey League. That's coming up in minutes.
Ooh, boy, this is a big package.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero on The Fan.
From the 1-800-ASK...
Get Russo on sometime this week. We did not have him on last week just to get an update on where everything stands. We kind of know, but it's always good to get it from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
On July 1's coming up.
Yeah, you're right.
There could be some movement on different things.
Yeah. The Wolves moves can't be announced officially till July 1 or July 6.
I thought it was 6.
Okay. Well, Johnny will know.
Yeah.
He's going to join us in just about 10 or 15 minutes. Bobby Marks, I think, used to be an executive for at least one NBA team, maybe had an assistant GM role. He's become sort of one of the ESPN go-to insiders.
For sure.
And he was on Sirius XM over the weekend, and the subject was the Celtics guard, Jaylen Brown. And he's apparently available, right? I mean, the Celtics clearly were dangling him to the Bucks, dangling him to the Wolves. Although, did you see, where was the report I read on what the alleged asking price from that the Celtics were demanding in that deal? Did you see it?
I didn't. Was it absurd?
It was absurd if it's accurate. We may run that by Johnny, too. The Celtics wanted Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert.
That's right. I did see that.
And a one or two,
whatever we have.
What are we doing? And the weird thing is, this is going to sound PST worthy, because Jaylen Brown is a far more accomplished NBA player than LaMelo Ball.
Yep. Finals MVP.
But LaMelo Ball, in theory, if he actually plays, is a better fit for what the Wolves need. I mean, Jaylen Brown, like, assist to turnover number is not very good. He's a tremendous two-way player, but you don't need another guy. You need another guy who can, in theory, again, make everybody better by his ability to see the court. In any case, the subject came up that he said, look, the Celtics are offering him, but the analytics on him aren't good. And that got everybody's attention.
Including his, exactly. And so then it went beyond that, where he claimed that one of the analytics folks that he talked to alleged that in the analytics world, Jaylen Brown was no better than the 7th best player on the Boston Celtics. He acknowledged the absurdity of that it didn't make any sense, but
the sensationalized part is what got the attention. It got Jaylen Brown's attention, too. And I don't know who to, there's a lot of ways to look at this. You could say, well, was Bobby exaggerating a little bit, or was the guy talking to Bobby just playing with it a little bit, and then Bobby ran with it? I don't know who to believe on that. Because I'm not here to necessarily mock and ridicule the whole concept of analytics, but it is the kind of statement, if it was actually made, that leaves you cold with the whole concept. It's like, what are we talking about? Now, you could say some of the numbers indicate that Jaylen needs to be in a certain place, and there's a certain fit, and some places maybe more than others, and there's maybe a little bit more trouble to his game than you realize, but you kind of lose the entire thread, don't you, if you pretend to be believed when you suggest that he is a guy who's won a finals MVP, hasn't he?
Yes.
And a championship already.
Yes.
And again, regular season kept the Celtics afloat.
More than that.
Despite the fact that, they lost his partner and perhaps the best player on the team. You go, well, what are we doing? What are you trying to sound like the smartest person in the room by saying the most idiotic thing? I don't know. But in any case, it got a lot of attention over the weekend. It's music, I'm guessing, to Kevin Kernan's ears because he hates the nerds.
Yep.
And this will be, once he finds out about it, he'll probably, even though he's a baseball column writer now for ball9.com, trust me, he will find a way to link it to baseball. He will end up writing a whole column on it once he becomes aware of it, if he hasn't already.
I saw it over the weekend. He was the first person I thought of. Kevin Kernan, when I saw that quote.
Oh,
because it is, you hit the key sentence. You're trying too hard.
Yeah.
You're trying too hard, whoever that individual was. And I don't doubt that they said it. I don't doubt that Bobby Marks is reporting that accurately.
Yeah, he's got no reason to make it
correctly. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I question a little bit why he felt like he needed to say it.
That's fair.
Because it's so preposterous.
Yeah,
are we defending why Jaylen Brown is on the block? Well, if you look at it, actually, despite what you've seen with your own eyes and how good the team has been with him, including without Jason Tatum, where they didn't just hold water.
Right.
Weren't they the 2 seed?
They were, and then they faded, obviously. They blew a 3-1 lead and got eliminated before they should have.
But they didn't have a lot of other great players on that team.
No. But, part of the problem for him was, if you start the conversation with, the analytics aren't good, that almost seems to say you're saying it above and beyond before you get into the specifics of what this one individual laid out, which is on its face rather preposterous. So the assumption is now that he can't go back to Boston.
Right, because he doesn't. I don't think he wants to.
He doesn't want to, and that they're going to find a way to get rid of him, which will be very interesting to see, where he ends up, where he lands, because the issue there is, again, he makes a lot of money.
Huge.
And I think he's also due, believe it or not, for a contract extension pretty soon. And then that gets into the area of, supposedly that's part of why the Bucks didn't want to mess with it again. They thought they'd be in another Giannis situation in no time. And they probably wanted younger players. He's, I think, about to turn 30. I think he's 29 now, so he's not ancient.
Wasn't he in the Chris Dunn draft? I feel like he was picked right before Chris Dunn was for us.
You might be right.
In a surprise move.
Yeah.
But that, again, we said it during the top 5. There are so many really good players, great players. Brown's a top 15 guy.
Easily.
Pretty easily.
Yeah, I think that's true.
But it's the contract.
Contract is part of how,
and
in fairness, the analytics people, that is part of how they analyze. It's not just what you've done, but it's what you've done in relation also to what it costs a given team to compensate you, to keep you in there. Now, again, it's hard for me to say he doesn't merit the money that he has received. I don't know. Again, it sounds crazy because he's so much more accomplished as a pro than LaMelo. But as we'll talk about with Johnny, the theory behind LaMelo is, if you look at Brown's numbers, I believe I heard your guy Scal today say he led the league in turnovers this year. Now, again, got the ball in his hands a lot.
Right.
You accept certain things, but I think he doesn't have a particularly good. He's not a great passer, I guess I'm trying to say. So
he's never been a great ball handler.
On the other hand,
that was always my thing with him.
He plays.
Yeah.
He plays, right? I don't think he's missed a lot of games. Has he?
I'm pulling up regular season. He played 71 games.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Averaged 28 points, 6.9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3.6 turnovers.
Okay. There you go. Questions for Jonny Athletic on either the Wild's pursuit of Dylan Larkin or the Wolves' pursuit of any living, breathing power forward who could give them 15 to 20 minutes a night. Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line 64686. Looks like we're in extra time. Germany, Paraguay still tied 1-1. This is the round of 32, second game of 3 today. Looks like a barn burner that might not be settled anytime soon. We shall indeed find out. Dateline, this is in Boston, Massachusetts. Back with Johnny, just a minute.
It's time for Jonny Athletic, Jonny Athletic, Jonny Athletic. And he's on with Dan Barrero right now.
End of regulation. Still tied, Germany and Paraguay in Boston, 1 apiece. We'll keep you posted on the developments there. Jonny Athletic joins us now via the Connecticut Water Systems hotline. You have questions or observations for him, you can certainly hit the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line as usual at 64686. In fact, Johnny, this has already come in for you. This is from a regular, Alan, out of Afton. Dan, will you please ask Johnny for his thoughts on Bill Guerin winning GM of the year? Where is Conley's trophy?
But you know what?
He does also acknowledge he might well be a Fallness burner account.
Congratulations for Bill Guerin. Love it, because I think I've said on this program a few times, I love GMs that take big swings. And I think the issue for Connolly is he did not take his big swing last season. It was continuity, remember? And so maybe when they're hoisting the trophy, when we're coming down the parade route on Hennepin Avenue in June, I think that Connolly will have that award fully just already in his trophy case.
Wow, that's a bold prediction. So on the basis of that prediction, it sounds like you expect LaMelo Ball to start all 82 games?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we're going to see Iron Man LaMelo.
There you go. Yeah.
Because, as you know, Dan, this training staff was named medical and training staff of the year. So they work wonders with injuries, and so I think they're going to turn that weakness into a strength, Dan. We'll see.
All right. We may revisit some aspects of the deal itself, but I think we should spend most of our time today filling a crying need for front court players for your Minnesota Timberwolves. Because even if you love the Ball trade, the fact is you have subtracted now not one but two significant front court contributors, and really there's nobody behind them right now in similar roles. So it's going to be a mix and match operation. I assume there's going to be some creativity to it, but give me the limits of the creativity, because I assume you can't fashion miracles out of the money that's available, or is there some way? And give me some names that at least might tickle the fancy of your enthusiastic Wolves fan right now.
Yeah, so right now they are in, quite frankly, a difficult spot, Dan, when you look at what is available and what they have to spend or to trade to go get someone. So they have two avenues right now. They could make a trade for a player that makes more money, say in the $15 million range, or they go and try and sign a free agent, and in there, they're right around probably about $5 million to spend, which is not much at all in today's NBA. And so if they go down the trade route, here's a problem that they run into. They have Josh Green's salary, which they required in Charlotte. He's an okay, he's a good swing player, but he doesn't have a whole lot of value on the market right now. And so typically you would say, hey, Team X, here is Josh Green and a second-round pick. Can you give us your power forward that you don't really want all that much. Well, the Wolves don't have any second-round picks to attach. If they had to attach something to get a player, you'd probably say attach Terrence Shannon Jr., and that's not something I'm really excited about doing unless it's a really good player. And so they're running into walls that way. Then if you look in free agency, there are a couple of names out there. I like John Collins as a name. I like Kenrich Williams as a name, in possibilities that you could go after. But I think both of those guys are probably going to get higher money offers elsewhere. And so what you would have to do as the Timberwolves is say, hey, look, we can't give you a ton of money right now, but you also don't have a lot of suitors out there. So why not come here, play for a year for cheap? You get a starting spot. It's right there for you. You're going to get a ton of minutes. You're probably going to get plenty of lobs from LaMelo. You're going to have a good year. And then maybe you repair your value, go back into the market next year and get, $15, $20 million, whatever it is. And so those are the two avenues. But, it's taken a lot of selling right now. And I think they're going to have to let the market settle eventually, where some guys are going to miss out and not have as many opportunities and then maybe come back to them. But right away, they're not getting people just really banging down their door saying, I'll take whatever you're offering.
Could we do a secret deal? Oh, wait.
Yeah,
we've been down that road, haven't we?
Yeah. What could go wrong with that, Dan?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have any picks they could take away.
What I would say.
That's a good point. Yeah, what could they take away from us? Where all our picks have already disappeared.
It's a great point. Yeah, absolutely. The Clippers are going through it right now with the Kawhi stuff, and look at how long it's taken the NBA to figure something out there. And so why not just test Adam Silver and see how far he'll go with it?
Tell me about Toronto guy whose name I can't pronounce.
Yeah, Mamukashvili is his name. He's another guy who I think would be wonderful. He would be a great pickup if the Wolves could get him. But again, a player who is probably above that $5 million range in terms of a free agent salary. Yeah. And so the only option that they have for him is to say, hey, you come in here, you will get a ton of minutes, you will get a ton of opportunities, and then you can maybe go back into the market next year. But as of right now, today, I don't think that he is super excited about that. Maybe the market changes and he changes his mind, but I don't think that there's a whole lot of enthusiasm on that side of the ledger for something like that. Another name, Dan, to look at, or that people have asked about, Phoenix and Charlotte did a deal. Miles Bridges to the Suns, Royce O'Neal to the Hornets. And you'd say, well, why not just swap out Josh Green for Royce O'Neal in the original LaMelo deal? But because O'Neal's got more money on the back end next year, it's just really problematic for the Wolves. So I don't see that as an option right now either.
612 guy writes, explain to me like I'm a small child, why can't we get TJ Shannon on the court? I would say before you get in on this, that's the intention clearly is now to make him a part of the present and the future. The question that's tantalizing is might he represent the added piece that allows you to get a better, front court player, power forward, presumably, than you otherwise could, right? That's part of the calculation. I don't think there's any dislike of him at this point. I think there's reasonable intrigue now that this might be the upcoming season where he's going to get more legitimate playing time.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. And I would say in terms of the trade aspect of it, you're right in terms, he's the one guy that you would attach to Josh Green to really get someone, because you wouldn't do it with Baron J. They're just not going to do that. But I still, I think they are hesitant, and I would be incredibly hesitant because you go into this next season with Ant and Io and LaMelo. That's a really good three-guard combination, but LaMelo has his injury issues. And I think you can use TJ Shannon at guard. I think you can use him at forward. Theoretically, he could start at small forward and you start Jaden at the four. That's still big. You're still big up there. TJ has got a lot of muscle and could be really effective. And we also saw at the end of last season, Chris Finch really started to find out a real role for TJ Shannon. I don't think he knew where his best spot was earlier in the season and certainly as a rookie. And so I think that there's a lot of enthusiasm for Shannon here next year as kind of this versatile guard forward, offensive-minded guy who, with the ball in his hands, can make things happen. And he does give them some much-needed depth on the wing that they don't have otherwise. And so if you trade him and Green and you get back a power forward, you do get a power forward, but then you liquidate your backcourt depth. And so I just would be really hesitant there, because to the texter's question, I think he's going to play significantly next season.
I'm trying to get on the fly here Jaden's numbers year by year. 2024-25, he averaged 5.7 boards. This past year, 4.2 rebounds. Are you convinced? I get it, he's tall. But are you convinced that you can? I mean, aren't you going to have some rebounding issues if Jaden is your 4?
I do think, that's the big problem. Now, right now with the situation the Timberwolves are in, there's no perfect solution.
No,
and so everything they go to is going to have some buts. And so if they were go to Jaden at the 4, but he has some rebounding issues. Maybe I think one thing that the Wolves might say to mitigate some of those concerns is that LaMelo Ball is a really good defensive rebounding point guard.
Yes.
So maybe you make up a little bit of it there, but you're still going to be a little light in the loafers up front. And if you play the really big teams, I think that would be a challenge. And so that would be something that they're going to have to mess with, figure out. You lean even more on Rudy or Baron J to really kind of occupy the rebounding and just grab every board that you can. But it would be a challenge for Jaden McDaniels at the 4 to rebound. I'm not saying he can't do it, but that would be a huge question mark going in with that lineup.
Somebody wants to play Baron J next to Rudy at the 4. That's really not practical now, is it?
No, you can't do that because they just don't shoot. Neither shoots at all. And so maybe eventually in 5 years, Baron J develops a little bit more of a jump shot. But right now, I mean, we saw last year in the playoffs, Dan, how difficult it was on the Wolves when you had Randall in there in the front court, and Randall just was hitting like 31 or 32% from 3. Imagine you have Baron J who's at 10% and Rudy is at 0. Like, that's untenable right now. And so I just don't see that. You may see it in very little glimpses against big lineups, but it's not something that's sustainable over the long haul.
612 guy, how about Green for Jalen Smith? Include it with the trades already happening.
I mean, maybe, but I'd have to look exactly at what Jalen Smith's contract situation is like before I could say yay on it. But a lot of these times, Dan, like when you say this for that, you got to have the other wants to do something like that. Yeah. And I think that's an open question for a lot of these teams right now, is that if you're just taking Green back, is that enough? Is just the expiring salary enough? And what does Jalen make in year 2 or year 3 if there's your deal? That I'd have to look at a little bit more.
So the one of the questions that's come up, and I don't remember if we covered this after the trade. Forgive me if we did, but I know we've talked about it off air, but I'm not sure we have on. And that is, the fact is LaMelo played in the most number of games I think he's played as a pro, which was it last year? Was it 62 or 72? 72, that's right.
72.
But he also averaged, I think, like 28 minutes a game. And so some people are saying, well, that's what they learned is that's how you have to manage him. It's not ideal, but that's how they have to manage him. That seems like a light number of minutes per game for a guy you want to be the guy to run the show here, practically speaking. So what should Wolves fans make of what that number was last year, and what are you hearing the Wolves thinking is regarding the number of minutes that they intend to use him this season if he stays healthy?
Yeah, I do think, Dan, that the Hornets were being careful with how they deployed LaMelo Ball. It's the idea that they were trying to save him over the course of a season. And work. I mean, he played 72 games, was able to play 28 minutes a night, was very effective in his minutes out there. And so when you look at that, I do think that's a big question that has to be answered, is how are they going to manage it? Because I could see a scenario, Dan, where he's around 30, 31 minutes a night during the regular season, because you have Iowa, you have Ant, you have TJ Shannon to use. But like in the playoffs, if he is as effective as the Wolves believe he's going to be, he's going to play 35, 36, 37 minutes. And the play in the playoffs is much more physical than it is during the regular season. So those are unknowable things right now. And I'm sure, 100% sure, that the Wolves are already kind of trying to put their athletic training people, their strength and conditioning people in touch with LaMelo, and to start preparing him and to try to get him as sturdy as possible. And then they will kind of see how it goes during the regular season. But they know for a fact they can't lose him for a long stretch of time during the regular season, and certainly not in the playoffs. So they'll put together a plan. They believe in their people to be able to do it and do it effectively. But you're never going to know until you see it actually on the court and throughout the season and into the playoffs, which is he's never been in the playoffs, to body reacts in addition to just how his game translates.
Does the Ball acquisition make it, in your view, even more crucial to try to find a way to bring Mike Conley back? Or I saw a report that Miami might have some interest in him. So where are we on the Mike Conley story in terms of the possibility of him being a part of this team's future as well as its past and present?
Yeah, from what I understand, then Miami and other teams are expressing interest in Mike Conley, but the Wolves are still very interested as well, and they do bring him back. And I think there's still a very good chance that he does come back, in addition to looking at some other spots. But, I think that you would love to have Mike Conley back, not only to be able to use him periodically throughout the season, as Chris Finch did very effectively last season, but also to be the sage, advice giver, guidance, to LaMelo in the locker room. Like, Mike is so valuable in that regard. And so if you're bringing a young player who has not won at all, who has a reputation of being a little bit wild card, having someone like Mike Conley in there to help him through it would be incredibly helpful for this team. And so I do think that there is a good chance that Mike does return, even though he is getting interest elsewhere. And I think he is weighing a lot of options, and the Wolves are hoping that he does come back on a minimum deal.
When do the Randall and LaMelo trades become official, where everybody can talk about it, press conferences can be had, all that kind of good stuff?
It's complicated, Dan, because right now it's like 3 teams, and it can expand to even more other deals happen. And so it actually benefits all teams involved to leave this open as long as possible, to let them all do business and make sure that, they exhaust all of their opportunities, Wolves included, to continue making moves and then fold them into the deal. And so all that is to say is I don't think it's happening anytime real soon. I think it's going to take a little while to shake out. I think that the deal could evolve to much bigger and add more teams and all of those things. And so I don't think anybody is in a real rush to get done, other than the only real benefit would be for the Wolves to be able to finally have a LaMelo Ball press conference and start, flashing the new jerseys with, on the ball on the back and all of those things and get people excited. But I think that this is a process that's going to play out for a while before we get any real definitive unveilings of the deal and announcements with it.
I'm trying to recall a recent deal that took on national proportions of national interest involving a name player that has become more polarizing among media jackals. And I'm seeing a little bit more, support, but still I think largely in a lot of places it's, my God, what are you possibly thinking? How could this possibly work? It is fascinating, is it not, the differences of opinion on what this deal represents?
Yeah, and I can think of one, Dan, that fits real closely. It's the Rudy deal.
That's true. You're right.
That deal absolutely excoriated right away as soon as it happened. And I think even now you look back and say, did they add maybe one pick or one swap too much into that deal? They probably, but it was a home run deal for the Timberwolves. And even some of the loudest voices are being a little sheepish and off, but still trying to hold their ground. It was an absolute win. I too, Dan, have been surprised the volume of negativity from real voices that I respect about it. And I really do think it comes down to LaMelo's personality and his injury history. But when you look at what he is as a player, what he did last season to be an incredibly effective winning player, and what Anthony Edwards in particular needed more than anything else, like, man, he checks so many of those boxes. So, like, I could understand, someone taking the say of like, look, he's hurt a lot, and I don't know how it's going to work, and so I'm a little bit squeamish on it. But like, the amount of people that say this was a D or an F grade on it for the is frankly completely out of touch with any reality about the Timberwolves situation. And so I don't know exactly everything that's in it, but I'll tell you, like, should come as no surprise, but inside the Wolves, they are just so happy. They believe that if they can keep him healthy, they think that this is going to look back on this and say, how could they have, that's all they paid for LaMelo Ball. Like, that's really all they paid. And so we'll see. But yeah, I'm really surprised at the serious, like, negativity that's surrounding, given the relatively small price that they paid. And we all love Naz Reid, but it's Naz Reid in a first, essentially, for LaMelo Ball. And it's just like, I don't know how you pass that up.
Another Fallness burner account has checked in. 28 minutes for one of your star players sounds light. My pregame show is longer. Which is pretty well played there. The number of Fallness burner accounts that various people have adopted is pretty remarkable. I mean, K Fallness doesn't even have to involve himself. He's got people working on his behalf all over the Twin Cities.
I would say people more clever than he is.
Well, so
it's working out really well for him.
That's also true.
It's amazing. Yeah, we talk about it all the time, though. Like, us in the basketball community sit over here and do our thing, and document, talk about the stories, and report the news, and we do it all in that vacuum. We do not pay any attention about what's happening across the river. But man, there's so many that are just worried at all times that the Wolves in that basketball are, taking away some of the shine of that squad and of their sport. And it's just, it reeks of insecurity.
Somebody asked a good question I can't answer. They want to know what your open was before you became Jonny Athletic, when you were AP Sports guy. Did we have an open for you then? I don't remember. Gaardsy thinks no.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, I think the open came when it was Jonny Athletic, and so that really stamped me. And I knew, Dan, that I made the right decision to leave AP and come to the Athletic, is when that song rang into my ears. I said, yes, I'm in the right spot.
Well, no, I think that was actually what did cement. We finally said, okay, can we stop consulting you and hearing about this agonizing decision? What if we give you an open if you go to if you go to the Athletic? And then the next day, I think you finally decided, after years of deliberation, and we were all able to move on with the rest of our lives. And that's 16 seconds I know everybody looks forward to every week. That
could be part of it.
It's so catchy.
Yeah.
Last text. So catchy, absolutely.
Here's your last one. Does Johnny have to keep putting in dimes to maintain the connection, or is he getting that many texts that the line gaps every 10 seconds? It does sound today like you're using Lavelle's phone.
Is that me, or because I thought it was on your end?
Yeah, but I guess it's possible.
Yeah, I do have to look at it. I think Lavelle and I are on the same
plan.
Are on the same plan or something like that, and so I'll try and fix the technology on that and for next week.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Dan.
Jonny Athletic, formerly known as AP Sports Guy, John Krasinski. Interesting. We'll get some reaction to him. I'm going to update you on the World Cup. Extra time, Germany and Paraguay. Did Germany get jobbed by the officials on an apparent goal? Stay tuned.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero on
Did we see earlier, just moments ago, in the Germany-Paraguay World Cup knockout stage game, goalkeeper flopping?
Oh, really?
And did that prevent Germany from going ahead 2-1 in extra time? Extra time in the knockout is 2 15-minute periods.
Okay.
We are at the we're 112 minutes into it right now, so you can do the math on that.
Probably not. I can't.
I'm not even going to try. I'm going to read you from one of the accounts. This is via The Athletic. Defender Jonathan Tah, T-A-H, thought he had headed Germany in front in extra time only for his goal to be controversially ruled out following a VAR intervention. Let me see if I get. Here's Alan Shearer. You know him?
I don't think so.
British Broadcasting Corporation. I do think it was a terrible decision. The goalkeeper has conned the referee and the VAR. The way he went down was pathetic.
Whoa.
So we've heard about flopping elsewhere.
Yep.
Is this a case of successful and effective goalkeeper flopping?
I'll defer to the experts. It sounds like maybe.
Yeah, there might be. I think also, as far as I'm concerned, it looked to me like it was that the Germans were indeed making use of the meat wall off of a corner kick, and I thought the meat wall was a little too aggressive because it is all about messing with the goalkeepers we talked about last week, and I think in this case, I think it's the right call. But I'll defer to BBC guy and anybody else from the soccer community that feels not so strongly about it. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this one. And then the night game, you already told me. Will you refresh my memory on the night game?
I already told you, and then I already forgot. So let me pull it up here. Netherlands, Morocco.
Netherlands, Morocco, two teams that don't much like each other.
Did you see the Kevin Garnett flopping commentary from over the weekend?
No.
Yeah, it was on Instagram, so I know you're not on the Insta. You're not on the gram. He wrote, I took a screenshot of it because I just loved it. I can just hear him say it. Is it me, or is every sport trying to sell a foul or acting like they got murdered on the play? I'm over it. Like, stop all the bleeping flopping. No one want to see this every other play, man. Real, in no sport, b-ball, soccer, wherever else you can flop, just play through. TF, which people know, 100, and then ticks.
So is it fair to say baseball is one sport where flopping's not a part of it because there's not much of an advantage to flopping?
I'd say the closest thing to flopping in baseball would be the pitch framing.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to do a sleight of hand, you're trying to steal a strike, and there's analytics for that because why wouldn't there be? Yeah, baseball, I don't know where you would necessarily be able to flop other than that.
So if the score remains tied after 120 minutes, then it's penalty shootout time. Okay?
We remember it well from the 99 World Cup here.
Both teams take 5 alternating kicks from the penalty spot. Only the 11 players who are on the pitch at the end of extra time are allowed to participate. And if the shootout remains tied after the first 5 rounds, then we do reach true sudden death, where teams take 1 kick each until one team scores and the other misses. That's the way apparently this thing works. If I'm accurate, and like I said, I'd love to hear from the soccer community on whether they feel Germany, that in this case the replay did not get it right, that VAR got it wrong. Maybe I am developing as a soccer expert. This is David from Marshall. Germany did not get robbed. If you watch the replay, Germany's number 3 makes a point to run into the goaltender, thus creating an advantage for his team. Absolute foul. You can see him seek out the goaltender. That's what I thought I saw. Now, the only thing I wondered was, whether enough time had elapsed, forward from that to where the judgment is the goalkeeper was no longer really being messed with. I don't know what the rules are, but I definitely saw contact. I thought it was a meat wall violation. Looked to me like a meat wall violation. That's
sure the worst kind,
and which they say it can be very, very dangerous.
Devastating.
So it goes on and it goes on and goes on. Dan AP Sports Guy, he did used to have an open. It was something about him being the most dogged reporter in the Twin Cities and how he would go to U.S. Bank Stadium, TCS Stadium, and the X. Okay, not really over there or something like that. I think he's right.
Yeah.
Once again, the listeners have a better memory than we do. Our own.
He's totally
opens.
right.
There was.
St. Paul. Yeah, not really there. Yeah.
And somebody else said he's not the guy from The Office. He's not the Duke head coach, etc.
Yeah.
Why don't we remember this?
Because we've been doing the show a long time. We've talked about this. We've had a lot of iterations of the show.
Yeah, you're right. That's actually, right, 612 guy. If you want to be more accurate, it's Randall and Nas and a first for LaMelo Ball. And I guess technically that's not all wrong because I do believe we needed the money in part that we got out of the Randall deal, right?
Yes.
To make this wouldn't have worked otherwise, I don't believe.
Right. All of this should be factored into one move.
That's fair, I think. We'll see if next time we talk to Johnny if he has a different view of it. How about Mike Conley as an assistant coach? Yeah, that'd be fine. I don't think he's ready to do that yet, though. I think he still thinks he's got some.
Correct.
He obviously, because I think at this point he's got to know he's not going to play a lot, right? So for him, he still likes it and still feels like, well, you never know what opportunity I might get, and I'm going to hold on to it and play this thing out. I don't begrudge him that. Do you?
No, I don't at all. And I'm not. I think we all need to pump the brakes on
that. It's over.
No, that Mike Conley is just itching to coach.
Yeah, that's true.
I know we all make the assumption because he could if he wanted to. He obviously knows the game.
Yeah.
The NBA coach lifestyle compared to the NBA player lifestyle sucks. Wouldn't you agree? Like,
there's no question.
I mean,
it's a completely different lifestyle.
Yeah, we don't
even have any idea.
We've heard Waylon talk about it. When she got into coaching, you don't realize. I'm sure Conley realizes it, but I mean, your life, even at the NBA level, is taken over by it. Like, you've got practice, you've got film, you've got scouting, you've got all of it. Like, I'm not going to make the assumption that Conley just wants to. Can't wait to join the bench. Maybe he will right away, but I know he likes to golf a lot, and I know he's got young kids, and I don't know if coaching is what he wants to do. Players, you do your training, you go to practice, you go home.
This is an observation out of nowhere related to nothing that we've talked about today. Are you familiar with Bluesky?
Yes.
Remember everybody was mad at your guy,
Elon
Musk, about X. So I'm leaving X. I'm tired of it. It's a cesspool. It's poisonous. So I'm going to Bluesky. And the reality, as some of us predicted, was you're going to come back with the tail between your legs because it's not going to. You're not going to. Whatever performing you were doing by leaving, we're happy for you. You're going to end up back. Now, some people, maybe true to themselves, aren't, but a bunch have. And Bluesky, there are all sorts of myriad examples of Bluesky lack of tolerance in a different sense. But I like the way one wiseacre put it. I think it's Jesse Single. And this is a good point that goes beyond Bluesky, I think, is a good lesson across the board that I think has been lost. I think this lesson once existed, and people took it to heart. I think the percentage of people who take it seriously, dwindling badly. The really dumb thing Bluesky people do is assume that if someone disagrees with them on anything, that person then must hold all the positions they hate. I'm skeptical of the evidence for youth gender medicine, so I must like Musk. And he's right. It's a huge issue, is it not? God, we'll get to it tomorrow. There was a guy, an activist, who basically had to leave a transgender celebration demonstration. I want to say it might have been in San Francisco. And he's been a leader in that particular area, but because he's identified as being anti-Palestinian, he basically got walked off the premises. I mean, people just wouldn't leave him alone. But it does speak to that, the assumption that I'm writing you off on the basis of this one, and I'm going to make assumptions about you in other areas on the basis of this one issue. Or you become so draconian about the one issue, you decide there's nothing else you could do to redeem yourself. And you can feel good about that as an extremist, all you'd like, but in the end, I'm not sure it serves the larger good any good. I don't think it serves the ongoing daily debate we have in any kind of a healthy way. So it looks like, what do we got? Is it over at the end of extra time? Is it still time? We still got any more time? Let me see. They're looking around.
They don't have the score out.
I think that's it. Yeah, I think so. Now I think we're going to next stop, penalty kicks.
Ooh, man.
It's a tough way to win or lose in the World Cup, is it not?
For sure.
And they try to avoid it. I mean, you do 2 15-minute extra periods, right?
On top of the stoppage time.
On top of the stoppage time, exactly it. So at some point, you can't go on forever, I guess. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that.
If they were continuing to go overtime, would you get in your car and try to get to Boston?
I'd have to.
Yeah,
I'd have to. Now that I'm in.
You're invested
into the World Cup culture. The World Cup culture
and community.
Is that what they call it? Community.
Yeah, the community
at large. Okay. We'll recap some of the controversial moments of today's program and remind you what we have coming up tomorrow.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
Yeah, we're in the penalty kick phase right now. Golden State's putting the band back together, man. Porzingis, 2-year, $40 million contract to return to the Warriors. So they're going to have Steph, Porzingis, LeBron, and street clothes.
Anthony Davis.
Man. That's a tantalizing little lineup, isn't it?
It's an expensive ticket on the road.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's a lot. That's a lot of star power
very true,
there.
Davey.
That's great. I like it.
Yeah.
Why not?
It'll be fun for sure. We want to thank our guest lineup today. Johnny, Monday regular at 5:30. And Ian Leonard joined us today for a very entertaining and emotional half hour. He tells the story of how he ended up at the England game Saturday in East Rutherford, New Jersey, largely because he grew up with soccer. His dad was English guy, and so his wife ends up with a surprise gift about getting tickets to a game in the World Cup. He wins the lottery, so to speak.
Which is amazing.
Which is amazing in itself. He goes there, and he did admit, yep. He's talking to his dad, who's not there, but obviously looking down on the whole situation several times during that match. It was a very emotional conversation with Ian Leonard. We did eventually get to some weather as well. That'll be podcastable and downloadable. That was during the first half hour of the 4 o'clock hour of the broadcast. So, I mentioned Johnny. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Luigi, what do you think?
I think we could.
Probably should, because there's still we got to figure out
on the eve of July 1st
where we're going. You're right.
Yeah.
Free agency.
Maybe
very, very
Russo
true.
on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, we definitely have to get Russo back this week, and we'll work on a couple of other things. If you're into the Caitlin Clark nonsense, which I'd rather not be, believe me, I'm tired of it. But it's unavoidable. It's inescapable. We spent a lot of time on that during the first hour of the broadcast. A lot of texts coming in to that, too. What else did we cover? We covered some Wolves. We didn't cover much baseball today. Oh, you know what we covered yesterday? New Chicken Wars thing.
No.
It's the return, apparently, the reemergence of the KFC buffet restaurant.
Is that
Now,
right?
I don't want to overstate the case. It's not like there's billions of them, but there's apparently double the number there were like 2 or 3 years ago. They're starting to make a little bit of a move. We had a lot of fun with that yesterday. Maybe we'll get back in that subject.
Is Blakemore even old enough to know about the KFC buffet?
He brought up Pizza Ranch buffet.
Yeah, that's good. He's from Iowa. That makes sense.
And then
that's big in Iowa.
People were bringing up the old Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Buffet. Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
You probably lived there.
Yeah, I didn't live there, but those retro Pizza Huts are coming back.
Oh, are
like
they?
With the whole aesthetic on the outside.
Yeah.
There's people that it's a simpler time, and they want to go back to it, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
You can't get enough of it, can you?
The buffet, the pizza buffet, Pizza Ranch, Pizza Hut, Pizza Pub, there is nothing like the pizza buffet. Tell them which one you want.
You're right. I agree.
There's nothing
I mentioned
like it.
I'd stopped at a KFC buffet in Mankato days, Vikings training camp days in Mankato in St. Peter. And it is now a Mexican restaurant. It's no, because I asked if it was still there, and it's not. And I just made it. I lost all control one day. I think I went back to it like 3 times, maybe 4.
Godfather's had a good pizza buffet.
They had a great cherry cobbler, and apparently that's still on the menu. The places that have the KFC buffet. So.